this was quite a sad list. We'll just move on to the next topic because this wasn't as fun as I was hoping it would be. Super Mario Galaxy 2. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yo, it's the Grown Kid Talk Show. Yo, it's the Grown Kid Talk Show. Yo, Grown Kid Talk Show. Yo, it's the Grown Kid Talk Show.
As 2019 comes to a close, I thought it was a good idea to maybe try and find some kind of list to talk about the best video games of the decade. Obviously, I'm not going to know every title or have played every title that came out the past 10 years, and I really was struggling on criteria for this list, and the one that kind of stood out the most to me, and considering the work I've kind of done in reviewing other critics like scores for some video games, some roundup videos I did that did pretty well on the channel, I thought BusinessInsider.com, this article by Ben Gilbert on the 21st of this month was a good place to start, because the critics do kind of end up ruling the sphere in terms of creating a list that can be accepted by the majority of people with some kind of basis in fact, mainly the numbers, whether sales of a game or the numbers of the grade the game got. So this is the top 10 best games of the past 10 years according to the critics. So I'm assuming that these games would be the games that got perfect scores. Maybe, I'm not sure, but let's get into it. As we can kind of see here, I'm assuming number 10 would be The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And I thought this game was pretty phenomenal, considering it is Zelda, and Zelda's been around for damn near 20 years. I didn't play this because I do not own a Switch. Now, I thought the game of the year for this year specifically, Horizon Zero Dawn, got snubbed by Breath of the Wild, only because Breath of the Wild was really the only game you would buy to get a Switch. I mean, you had Mario Odyssey, but even now, there aren't, again, AAA titles that can hold a console's lifespan original enough to the console itself for the Switch. I mean, if you have a Switch, let me know what you're playing. It's most likely a rehash of a game that already came out on a different console, probably the PlayStation 4. I just thought Horizon Zero Dawn got snubbed because that was a PlayStation exclusive. It should have been held in the same esteem as an exclusive for Nintendo. I've always said this. Nintendo is literally a monopoly, and I cannot keep promoting the monopoly ways of Nintendo. Their games are great for what they are, but let a real studio, let a real 4K HDR, let Xbox get a Zelda game and make the thing amazing. I'm just tired of it, even though I'm not going to discredit Breath of the Wild, because I know it's a game I would have personally enjoyed so much. I just feel that Horizon Zero Dawn got snubbed that year, so that must be the number 10 spot. Oh no, that isn't the number 10 spot. That might have been 11, because number 10 here is Portal 2. Wow. Critic score 95 out of 100. User score 9 out of 10. Now, I didn't play Portal 2. It definitely came out, in the first 5 years of the decade, I believe. I totally would have missed this, and I didn't play Portal 1. I know it's a great game. I'm just surprised to see this at the number 10 spot currently. It makes me wonder what games are going to be on this list. I can completely understand taking Portal 2 out and putting a game like Hollow Knight in. If we're going to go this kind of quality game. I didn't say that this, not to say that this isn't a AAA title, it's just to say the type of game it is means that this list very well could be all spread over, which I do hope it is, but I feel like this is a fair list at the end of the day, because the critics have gotten things wrong before, and I would hate to see it bleed into this. So Portal 2, I don't need the plot summary, it's a puzzle game. It came out in 2011, so I was correct. It was definitely in the first 5 years. Red Dead Redemption. Now, this isn't Red Dead Redemption 2. So again, I'm kind of worried here about this list. I thought this might be a good list. This is the first time I'm seeing it, but I would easily replace Red Dead Redemption with Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, there's no question about it. Everything Red Dead, the first one did, the second one did better. And I don't want to put old games on this list just for the sake of old games. I get it started off this franchise that we've all now come to love and really respect for the quality. But I wouldn't necessarily have just put this on there. I thought Red Dead 2 got a perfect score, 10 out of 10. It was definitely higher than an 89. So again, a little confused. It came out in 2004. Okay, The Last of Us. Now, this is a game that definitely deserves to be on the list. Great job. Even though all my gripes about The Last of Us 2, if you followed the channel and watched the videos, I constantly mention it and consistently have been taking shots because the game has, and the developers and Neil Druckmann have been taking shots with all of us. The Last of Us 2 got delayed. But I respect the Last of Us at the number 8 spot. I might have actually even put that a little higher on this list, given the impact of the game and that multiplayer that carried it. But it's respectable, and I'm obviously wrong. These aren't all the games that got perfect scores. Critics don't really give perfect scores like that. If a critic gives a perfect score, it's almost as if, why are you listening to that critic? Take Death Stranding, for example. The way the critics snubbed that, you kind of get my point there. I respect that. Last of Us 2 there. Okay, The Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Again, this is a completely deserved pick right here. I don't know why there's no picture here. I might have to just insert one. This was a huge success. Got so many reboots on different consoles and different editions. It's kind of insane. But I do understand the Skyrim pick because it was technically bigger than The Last of Us in terms of player base, no doubt about it. Everyone and their mother seemed to play Skyrim and make memes out of it, and I played it as well. I loved it. I just don't want to play another one, quite honestly. I'm okay with this Skyrim. Hopefully the next Elder Scrolls game really innovates and does something different, because Skyrim was that innovation from the previous one, the fourth installment of the Elder Scrolls, I believe, Oblivion. It took Oblivion, everything Oblivion did, and just did it right and better. I just hope that the next one is innovative in some kind of way, kind of like From Software. I hope they innovate with their new game, unlike Sekiro, which is nowhere near Game of the Year for 2019. That was a total snub. But I do understand Skyrim being there. Props to that. Mass Effect 2. Wow, we're really kicking it old school. Mass Effect 2 was amazing. I did play the whole trilogy because I got it like a bundle. I did, and I loved it. So I understand the Mass Effect pick here. I'm worried because we're already at 6, and I'll have to insert a picture here. And Mass Effect 2, Portal 2, and the original Red Dead are on this list. It's got me very worried here. Very worried. The user score was an 8.9. Critics gave it a 96. Again, remember that this article by Business Insider is based on the critic scores, so I'm not sure what that totally means. Is it just the highest rated critic games across the board? Are they looking at every site and taking an average like I did on the channel with a lot of video game reviews? But Super Mario Odyssey, you heard me mention it before. It's unsurprising that Nintendo would have at least 2 spots on this list so far. Again, Super Mario Odyssey would have been the reason why you bought a Switch, but Breath of the Wild came out, with the console basically. So did Super Mario Odyssey. So I get why. I just want you to take a second and think, what if Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey were not console exclusives, number one, and number 2, weren't on a new console from Nintendo? I want you to think about how that would actually change your view about the ratings of the game. It's not to take away from the games. I just want you to consider those factors, and maybe those games don't exactly beat out a Horizon Zero Dawn. Maybe they don't make 5 on this list. Obviously, Super Mario Odyssey was phenomenal. I watched streams. Again, I'm not just buying a Switch for 2 games. I'm sorry, it just doesn't make any sense, especially now with the new phone by LG, dual screen. I rock dual screens all the time, TV to watch and play games, or computer up and play game, or do whatever. But the phone's in 2D with 2 screens now. You can play a game and have the game just running on its own screen. You can check your messages and then do something else on the other screen. So I think the Switch might become obsolete as soon as the dual screen phone really catches. Because I think it's pure genius to have the 2 screens. I think that's where we're headed in terms of mobile devices, because if you've never done dual screens or never tried to do that thing, I really suggest it, because it will upgrade your level. It will take attention away from certain things, but in terms of gaming, the 2 screens on your phone is just perfect. Why have a Switch then if I can actually play more games on my phone than I can on a Nintendo Switch? That's kind of funny to me, because that will be the future. If not already, I'm sure there's more games for mobile than there are for the Nintendo Switch original titles. Let me say that again, because the Switch has a shit ton of titles that have already been out for X amount of years that are just brought to the Switch for convenience sake. I have not heard about a new great Nintendo Switch game in a very, very long time on the level of a Super Mario Odyssey or on the level of a Breath of the Wild. But you'll hear about a new game on the PlayStation 4 that'll blow your mind. That's, that came out already. Death Stranding. Or you got next year, Last of Us 2. Let me not mention Final Fantasy VII Remake. So I'm saying, take those things away from Nintendo, and suddenly you're left with a company that is really just slowly dying. I don't necessarily see kids going out there and running out to play Super Mario Odyssey or Breath of the Wild. It's more, because Nintendo's so old, the appeal has consistently always been Mario. But I want to say this with heartfelt sadness and, optimism. Mario needs to end eventually. Pokemon's gonna come to an end eventually. And then when that happens, when the decline is so noticeable, obviously there will always be people out there to play Mario and play those type of games. But I'm saying eventually it will come to such a slowdown that what does Nintendo really have left? That's a question for probably the next decade, because quite frankly, I'm tired of the monopoly that Nintendo has on its own properties and the substandard games that they make. And I'm sorry if you're a Nintendo fan, but that's just how I feel. And if you really think about it, what has Nintendo done to make you think that they're new developer friendly? What have they done to tell you that they're going to get AAA titles on their console? The simple fact is Nintendo Switch cannot run Death Stranding. It just can't. So what do you... And like I said about the phone, when that really pops off, that dual screen on a phone, my phone's stronger than my Nintendo Switch. I just will leave it there. I got on a rant.
Yo, it's the Grown Kid Talk Show.